The CYENS Weekly, an industry pundit podcast about the tech and innovation of the 21st century. An open discussion between industry experts to uncover how emerging technologies can help solve current societal issues.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you also for having us here in Brussels. Today we have Silvia Merisio with us from the European Commission. Can you tell us, please, a bit of what you do at the Commission?
Hi, thank you very much. I'm Silvia Merisio. I come from Italy and I started working at the Commission in 2014. I was first at DG Employment and then I moved to DG Connect, where I'm in charge of implementing digital skills policies and projects. And since 2021, we have this new instrument called Digital Europe Program, and it's financing cool activities about digital skills.
Thank you. Can you please talk a bit about these main activities and what are their objectives?
Yes, so with the Digital Europe program, we try to foster the deployment of key technologies into the economy in all sectors. So the idea is, on the one side, to build the best capacities in terms of infrastructure for deploying technologies like high-performance computing, data, AI, and so on. But also, we cannot deploy these technologies if we don't have enough people that are able to develop and use them. So we have earmark resources in order to support actions, in order to develop new training and more attractive training for people to acquire digital skills related to these technologies.
Well, that's great. And there's also funding available for all these organizations.
This is 580 million available on a total program of 7.4 billion. So these resources will be distributed over 7 years. And we have already started with some of the activities in 2021 and 2022. We are starting to finance master courses, short-term training courses, and modules online for people to acquire digital skills. And
the Digital Europe is the umbrella. So
Digital Europe is an umbrella program composed of 5 pillars, and advanced digital skills is one of them.
Okay, and the rest of what are the rest of the activities under?
Yes, as I was saying, basically 90% of the program is devoted to build infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So it will, for example, build the fastest supercomputer in the world. Hopefully, it will build data libraries for companies and public administration to be able to use them more easily. It will be reinforcing cybersecurity capacities all over Europe, and every time we need more people to use this technology. So that's why also we are financing advanced digital skills activities.
That's great. And what are some of the, if I say the word good practices, let's say, what are some of the good practices that comes to your mind?
Yeah, it's a bit early to have good practices of the Digital Europe program because we just started financing them. Actually, we'll soon announce the first winners of the first calls. But then we piloted similar actions in 2019 and 2020 with another program which is called the Connect Europe Facility. And there we financed 4 advanced masters provided by consortia, a group of universities across the EU, and there were 4 masters in AI. For example, the first one that has already started, it's finishing its cycle. It's called AI for Gov, and it really targets, training for people from different backgrounds. So the idea is to use solutions, AI solutions, to improve the way digital services are provided to the citizens. So many people apply to it. We have political scientists, we have computer scientists, we have very different profiles that are working together on this project.
And are these masters like on spot, or they're digital usually?
For the moment, as this master started during the pandemic, the first year was almost everything online, but they kept some seminars physical when, of course, the external condition allowed for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what's coming next as part of the Digital Europe?
Yes, so as I was saying, the first 2 calls already opened and closed. It was one for the master, one for the short-term training courses, and then we will open a new call for master courses, again, in key digital technologies, where we ask universities to get together with businesses and research centers to design innovative programs and deliver them in order to attract more students and have more students graduating in key digital skills. This will be published in September, probably around the end of September. It will have a total budget of around 50 million and it will close at the end of the next year. So I really encourage all organizations to apply.
And does this also affect policy making on the EU level, or?
Well, of course, we draw lessons from what we see in the proposal. So if we see that there is a huge appetite for it, we also encourage member states maybe to, chip in and also finance this kind of activities. We see that there is a huge lack of people with advanced digital skills and ICT specialists. I don't know if you heard, but the Commission published last year a communication which is called Digital Decade. In this communication, we set very ambitious targets for digital skills, for digitalization of industry, digitalization of public administration. And here we say that at least 80% of people in the EU by 2030 should have basic digital skills. At the moment, we are around 54, so you see the gap is quite big. Mm-hmm. And the same is for ICT specialists. We aim at having 20 million ICT specialists. We are now at 8.4, so we still have some work to do. Mm-hmm.
What's the reason behind that having a huge skill gap? Is it because people are not interested? Is it because institutions cannot catch up with the necessity to upgrade, let's say, the education system? What's the main reason behind that?
That's an interesting question. Actually, there are a number of factors that can influence the level of digitization of citizens, but also of a member state. To draw some lessons, we have an instrument which is called Digital Economy and Society Index. For example, we see that when there is a big push also from the institutional level, and there is, for example, digital skills are taught from a very early age, primary and secondary school already incorporate in their curricula digital skills. Pupils have a higher level of digital skills already than in countries where this is not taught in informal education. We see also when the industry is very digitized that the level of skills is higher, but you can say it's both ways. So the industry is digitized maybe because people have higher digital skills. So we really have a number of factors to consider for this.
Yeah, and like a bonus, because you also have knowledge with employment with Italy, and I know Cyprus, Greece, Italy has been having the highest youth unemployment rates. So I assume it's also it's correlated between high unemployment and low digital skill. As I see, if you have high digital skills as well, it's easier to find jobs because you can easily relocate anywhere in Europe. So it's a factor affecting that.
What we see that in these countries, we also have a very high level of what we call skills mismatches. Mm-hmm. So what employers are trying to find in terms of skills is not often mirrored by the skills that people have. In particular, when we are talking about youth employment, there is, in these countries like Italy, Cyprus and Greece, there is a big share of young people which is not in employment, education or training, the famous NEETs. Mm-hmm. And these are, if you want, the hardest to catch, because you really need to motivate them, to outreach to them in order to allow them, either to enroll into a training or to find a job.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. It was great to have this episode with you. Anything else you would like to mention?
Just don't forget the next call for the Digital Euro program in September. Stay tuned on the Digital Skills and Job platform. You will have all the information.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
This podcast is brought to you by CYENS, former RISE, the Research Centre of Excellence in Cyprus, focusing on interactive media, smart systems and emerging technologies. For more information, please check our website on cyens.org.cy.